against illicit brew in the country. So let's have a brief conversation on this fight against illicit brew. I'm joined by John Mutudo, the former chair of NACADA. It's great to have you with us. Karibu sana to our studios.
Asante sana. Good evening, viewers.
Good evening. I think it would be proper to start off with the latest intrigues we've seen around this fight against alcohol and substance abuse. The latest being the courts pronouncing themselves on shisha. We saw the Mombasa courts mention that shisha is not unlawful. Equally, Moratina is not an illicit drink. Kiambu law courts. Your reaction to this particular rulings?
I'm persuaded to tell Kenyans the whole truth. And the truth is that the people who move to court must be sure what they're taking before the law courts. For instance, out of context, if you go and pour alcohol in drums and then expect a magistrate to convict because we are saying there was 400 liters of boozer that you poured or illicit, it's expecting too much. What is ailing Kenya right now is not a question of judiciary or executive. It's a moral cadence. People have become defiant. People tend to be quacks, pretending to know what they don't know. And talking about alcohol, I would ask Professor Kidiki, very respectfully, because I'm my friend, and he knows he's my friend. Mheshimiwa Gachagua is a friend for a long time. Okay. We have been friends from year 2000 and plus. All right. Mheshimiwa Ruto, we have been together for a very long time. Just listen to John Mutudo. Let's work on regulations. And these regulations should be worked out in style. I left the regulations on my desk at NACADA. They could have been destroyed because of cartels. We can still make other regulations. Then you go through the cycle. Public participation, through Parliament for Delegated Responsibility Committee, and then back to the House again, and then this problem will be sorted out. I can swear, I really swear, that if I had this team of President Ruto, the DP Gachagua, Kidiki, Adimuturi, if I had that team when I was the chairman of NACADA, for sure would have had this, so would have said goodbye to this problem. Because these people listen, they are committed to the core. They really are serious about saving the youth. They mean what they're talking about. But they need tacticians, not technicians.
Tacticians.
Tacticians, just like Messi in football. You need somebody who, once in the field, will do magic. That's what they're missing.
So let's speak about this magic, because you've sort of pointed out that the legislative angle is the weak link when it comes to regulations around enforcing illicit alcohol and brews in the country. What is the lacuna? What are the issues with the current legislative pieces that make perhaps fight against illicit brew such an uphill battle? Yeah.
It is very simple. The Mutudo laws, as you know them, is a journey that started in 1907, long before I was born. I picked notes from the first Legico. And in the order paper, the first Legico in Kenya, you know Legico,
yes,
was held on 17th of August, 1907. And the second item was on eradication of intoxicating drinks among the Africans.
Okay.
And the first one was stopping the slave trade. The first one passed, but the second one did not go. There was 103 years of trial and error. I picked all that material using science, researchers, and everything. Then it came up with the Mutudo laws. A law is good if it is founded on a policy. The policy of the Republic of Kenya at that time was that we must regulate all control, consumption, production, consumption of alcohol, and so forth. It was very clear. And there was NACADA. That time there was Jennifer Kimani, who was then the CEO.
Oh, right.
They lobbied for a very strong policy. So riding on that policy, I made a bill, because you should have a policy which is government thinking about what's going to happen. Okay. And it originates from the manifesto. Then after doing the policy, we did the bill, then came to the law, the Mutudo laws. Mutudo law, once enacted, that was 13th of August 2010, was supposed to generate 4 regulations. Up until now, this hour, only 1 out of the 4 regulations was gazetted. That is the lacuna.
Okay. And it's definitely, it needs political goodwill and whatnot. Luckily, we've seen the president, the deputy president, as you've mentioned, definitely put their heart in the race to fight illicit brew. As we finalize on this, because we've definitely had from stakeholders, the Bar Owners Association coming out mentioning that we are being targeted unfairly since we are just sellers. We're not the ones who manufacture this illicit brew. How should we go about this crackdown so we do not disadvantage the business people? Briefly.
Back to the roots.
Yes.
Call Honorable John Michael Jenga Mutudo, the current chairman of JOMEC, the biggest rehab in Africa. Call him. He will draft for you the remaining 3 regulations and everything's over. Okay. The bar owners will be happy, consumers will be happy. In short, the regulations were to do something to do with access. That's the first one we gazetted. And thank you to Mr. Kimemia, who became a governor of Nyandarua right alone. The second one was quality. What is this Muratina? What is vodka? What is wine? All those regulations were there.
All right.
Now, number 3 was about enforcement. Who was going to do the enforcement? And finally, treatment and rehabilitation. These are very solid regulations. They will be doing. And can I offer my 3 friends?
As we finalize, yes.
Yes, I finalize. President Ruto, his deputy, and Kidiki. I will do it for free if you give me a chance to come and make Kenya a sober nation.
Okay, well noted. So according to Mutudo, of the highly acclaimed Mutudo laws, it's all to do with the enforcement of the regulations that were put in place. 1 has been enforced so far, 3 to go. So it's up to the government, even as stakeholders add their voice to this ongoing battle against illicit brew in the country. Thank you so much, John Mutudo. It's a pleasure having the brief discussion. Of course, we'll continue monitoring the steps as they continue enforcing this fight against illicit brew.
Pressure is mine always.
Asante,
and I would be happy to see you again.
Yes.
And come and explain further what are all these regulations
We'll
about.
definitely extend an invite. You're watching KTN Prime. We continue with the broadcast. We take a short break, but coming up,